In this video, I would like to give you some productivity advice after 2 years of being an engineering student. So, a little bit about myself. My name is Tony Pham. I'm a second year electrical engineering student. Just finished my second year, actually. The results were excellent. And for the past 2 years, I've really tried to tune in on my efficiency and productivity rather than purely focusing on output, just being busy all the time, which is what I thought productivity was. And this efficiency focused approach has given me great results. As you can see, this is my first year of engineering, and this is my second year. I am a consistent high distinction and distinction student, which is the two highest grade bands of university. So that's pretty sick. And this is me receiving a first year engineering student award. This is specifically the P.W. Stevens Engineering Prize, awarded to the engineering students with the highest overall GPA of their cohort. So there's some credibility for you to start trusting me. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first advice I have for you is to break down your dreadful task. Okay, this is about procrastination. Let's say you have a very dreadful task, a big assignment that you know you have to start, and you don't want to start it. Obviously, who does, right? As a student. What I want you to do is I want you to break that assignment, that task of starting the assignment down into very, very small details, okay? Very small tasks that you know you can easily achieve. So, as I've already said, starting an assignment, what are you gonna do? You're in your house. Go to your workroom, okay? It's super easy to go to your workroom. You're gonna get your laptop out, you're just gonna open it. Very easy to open your laptop. And then you're gonna open your Word document. And then you're gonna start writing, okay? When you break when you break down starting your assignment into smaller tasks like this, you won't feel as overwhelmed as only thinking about the task. Oftentimes, what happens to us is we overthink, right? We put so much stress on starting the task and how big and important the task is that we just end up procrastinating, and we forget that setting up is actually a big part of getting the task done. And I'll give you another example for you guys that are going to the gym and are struggling. I sometimes struggle as well. I don't want to go to the gym all the time. Some days I just want to stay home. So what do? I break it down into smaller tasks. I go put on my gym clothes. Okay, that's very easy to do. And then I'm gonna put on my shoes, just one step at a time, little tasks. I'm gonna grab my water bottle and I'll get in the car. Okay. And by this stage, once I've gotten into the car, it's kind of impossible for me to not go to the gym, right? So I just go to the gym and I do it with way less effort than if I were only having sort of two states, all right? Two situations. I have a staying at home and going to the gym, A to B. That's not good. That's way too big of a jump, and your brain will be overwhelmed and you'll end up procrastinating. Break it down into little tasks. Instead of going A to B, we're gonna go A to, I don't know, A.1, A.2, A.3, all the way to A.9, and then we're gonna get to B. All right? That's how you should break down your bigger task. And as I've already said, you will feel illegal, sort of feel wrong not to start the task once you have completed the smaller details. Not all of them. Even if you've only done one or two of the smaller details that you've broken down, it it's very easy to keep going and continue and just complete your task, you know what I mean? So that was the first thing. Just a little advice that you guys can start implementing into your day as a student. The second tip is to have a clear and specific schedule, okay? This is super important. I used to be a student who just freestyled their days, thinking that when the time comes that you need to work, I'll just do whatever I feel like, because I thought If I would do what I feel like, when the time comes to work, I would actually get more work done because I don't know, for some reason it just made sense to me that if I do what I feel like, I'll get more work done compared to if I had a set and stone plan. And the issue with that is our brain is designed to take the easiest path to conserve energy. So what ends up happening every single time, or at least 9 times out of 10, is I just procrastinate. I just don't do anything when the time comes that I need to work. I just end up scrolling, watching YouTube, doing anything other than starting my assignment or my work. And when you have a clear and specific schedule, you give your day structure, okay? That's very obvious. And it's so much easier to track your progress as well. And once you've made a schedule, you are much, much more likely to achieve your goals rather than purely using willpower and memory to complete your task. And studies has shown that you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals when you have a schedule set. And when you use willpower and memory, that's just this resistance. You feel this weird resistance when you are just using willpower to power through your day to get your task done. And the third point is there's actually a reason why it was so easy for you to move between classes in school. Because I want you to think about this, okay? Back when we were in school, we'd have a timetable, right? A set timetable. So then in between classes, let's say at 9 a.m. you have maths and I don't know, 11 a.m. you'd have history. When 11 a.m. hits, you will just stop doing your math subjects and your mind will just subconsciously just get up and move to where your history class is. You don't feel that much resistance moving between classes. And why is that? That is because you have a timetable that you sort of have ingrained into your mind. And that's what's so interesting. If you did not have a timetable, what you'll probably realize is when the time comes, let's say instead of having that timetable and you use your own willpower and memory to go, okay, so let's study maths, okay, at school today for 9 to 11 a.m. and then from 11 a.m. comes and you just go, okay, let's move to history class. It's going to be so much harder for you to move to the class as opposed to having a timetable. And that's why a schedule is so powerful. Your brain is almost sort of molded into the timetable that you have created so that when time comes, you'll just automatically do what you were supposed to be doing. And when you do this, you will have less stress and you'll have more mental capacity for the more important task that you will spend your mental energy on because you have less stress trying to juggle the tasks that you need to complete because your day is already laid out. You don't have to think about what to do as the day is happening. And this is something called decision fatigue when your day is going and you make these micro decisions throughout your day. You don't think they're a big thing, but they take a lot of your mental energy. They take a big toll actually on your mental energy. So that's another reason why you should have a clear and specific schedule. And another tip I want to give you with your scheduling is you want to be super duper clear with what you are doing. Okay, let's say we've made a schedule from 9 to 11 a.m. Again, we're gonna study. Okay, I don't want you to just put down studying from 9 to 11 a.m. on your calendar. What I want you to do is I want you to be more and more specific. So you go study maths. All right. That's good. That's a good starting point, but that's still not enough. What I want you to do is I want you to go study maths, practice exam, practice paper 2014. That's that's the golden. Okay, that's gold. That's excellent. When you have a clear intention of what you are trying to complete within your set out schedule, you're going to be even more likely to achieve it. And you can track your progress much better that way as well. There's almost no point having a calendar if you are being so general about what you're going to do. I mean, it's good that you're structuring your days with the calendar, but if you're not clear with what you're going to be doing, when the time comes, you might end up procrastinating again because it is not clear what you are supposed to be doing. And again, you will have to experience that decision fatigue throughout your day if your tasks and your schedule are not super duper clear. So that was the second tip. The third tip that I want to give you is to abuse past exams and past tests, right? This is particularly useful for exam and test periods. So for myself, when exam season comes, I get super happy because the only thing I have to do is past test and past exams. I literally do not do anything else, all right? I don't go through my lecture notes. I don't do the homework sets. I don't go through the tutorial problems. I only do the past test and past exams. Now, why do I do that? The reason for that is the test and the exams test you with the types of questions that are only in the test and exams. Okay, let me try to elaborate this. When you do a past paper, you are exposing yourselves to the type of question that are present in the actual exams. What you realize in high school and university is all the tests and all the exams, they follow a very similar structure so that the types of questions are similar. You recognize the topics that are usually in order throughout the test or the exam as well. And the question are always testing you on the same thing. So the funny thing is once you've done one paper, the second and third and just the and so on. So the rest of the paper will be so much easier. You'll find it so much easier to complete it because you're already exposed to the types of question that are in the entire exam. So there is a benefit to obviously going through the lecture notes and going through the tutorial problems because they build your foundations and your understanding. But that's supposed to be done at the start of the semester, the start of the term, not during revision time. And even if you've missed out on the foundations, the foundational knowledge that you need for the subject, a lot of times you don't even need it. You just do the practice exam, just brute force your way to understand just what you need to do well on the exam. And what you'll find is when exam time actually comes, you're able to get at least like 75 to 80% of the exam paper correctly anyways. So what's there to worry about? Okay? And an argument that I I find and I have questioned myself when only doing past exam and test is, well, what about the 5% that you could miss out on? You know how in the test and exam there's always that one question that separates you from getting, let's say, 100% from like 90%. And that question usually comes from like a little section from the textbook or from the lecture notes. And I used to just think, oh man, I need to study everything, right? What if I miss out on that little detail? And to that, I say, well, don't worry about it. Just spend all of your time doing the practice exam and papers, and you'll find out that you have so much more time in your day anyway. So you can spend that time going through that 5% that could be in the notes, that could be in the lecture notes, that could be in the textbook. Okay? And even if you don't go through that 5%, what I've found is by doing the stuff that is in the exam paper, you would have enough baseline knowledge to tackle that question anyway. Like you'd have enough knowledge and understanding so you can bullshit your way and get part of that 5% question correct, if not all of it. So, what's there to worry about, right? You'd have so much more time when you just spend your time revising using exams and tests and you can spend that extra time studying other subjects, or you can also rest, okay? And that's the reason why resting is capitalized in my notes, because resting is crucial to productivity, okay? Productivity is not about being busy and always working on something. Productivity is doing things that get you to your goal. What gets you to your goal in school? Getting high grades. Oh, sorry. What is your goal in school? Getting high grades, right? Doing well in school. Well, what gets you there? Obviously, studying, doing past exams, past tests. Those things definitely do help. But guess what? You don't want to burn yourself out. So resting resets your brain, keeps you fresh, gives you the energy to keep going and study harder. So resting is also an activity that gets you to your goal of doing well in school. And this is what so many students don't realize. They don't prioritize resting, and all they think about is how much they should study to do well. And man, I don't even study that much in university. I study like 3 hours at most every day. I mean, obviously, throughout the semester, there are times where I have to do like 4 to 5 hour sprints, and that could be pretty exhausting. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get your tasks done. But you don't have to study that much. And what you find is once you start resting, you'll be so much fresher and you can work so much more efficiently when you do work and you get more things done. You'll have you retain more knowledge and everything is just goes so much better when you take resting seriously. So that was the third thing. That was the third tip. Abuse past papers and past exams and see how much better you perform on test day, how much more time you get, how much more free time, and everything just becomes so much more efficient. And those were the three things I've learned that has helped me improve my productivity significantly, and I believe it will for you as well. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!